Hi, I have a problem. I've got too much to say, too little time. I speak with a funny accent. And I flew in from Las Vegas last night. I was working when I was there, but I'm a bit tired. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning with me. So I'm going to talk about the cloud, the web, and the crowd as examples of how you can rethink public service delivery. All of the examples I'm going to talk about are real. They're not theoretical, and they're happening today. In fact, these have been live for at least a year. So a little bit just about who we are. Very quickly, we are a public sector solutions company. That's all we do. We are number one in local government in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and we recently entered the Australian market with the Brisbane City Council, the largest city in the Southern Hemisphere. We do service experience management. Gartner have given us the highest rating in local government. We are global. We did well last year, even through time of recession. Our customers refer to us as a giant killer. I don't say this arrogantly in any way. It's just to say that we have been successful. We are different. We work very close with our customers, and that's what they say about us. As in, we beat the big software companies when we compete. And we were recently acquired by Cana, so I'm kind of talking about this as lagging, but we've just recently been acquired by Cana. Cana's one of the, 10 years ago, was a very large company. They have customers like HMRC, City of Amsterdam, and a few others, so there's a good synergy there, so we'll hear more about that in the weeks to come. Our customers, if I had time, we'd do a bit of a pop quiz here, but we don't. But just very quickly, Toronto, Windsor, Maidenhead, Stormont Castle, you probably see it on TV a lot for not necessarily always good reasons. Westminster, here. San Francisco, that's not Sydney, that's Newcastle. LA County, Tennessee, state of Tennessee, Bermuda government, New Orleans, and Vancouver. Just some. Okay, so the cloud. What is the cloud? First of all, well, I'm going to be talking a bit of a plug at the Cloud ICT Innovation Forum in Belfast on the 1st of December, along with the Cabinet Office, as well as a few others. We've been working with the G-Cloud strategy for over a year now. But we're actually doing it. We have customers actually on the cloud today. What is it? It's about being able to deliver apps in the cloud so they're easier to get access to, quicker to get value delivered to your customers than would otherwise be possible. And I'm going to give you an example of that now. So we started looking at this about 2 years ago. And one of our first customers was Bermuda. I have a rule, only work in places that are really exciting and beautiful. So there's Bermuda there. So the context was that actually myself and Martin Walsh, who's the customer insight manager in Bermuda, we did a presentation at our North American user group in Toronto a month ago. So this is actually his words. Okay, so they had limited investment to date, limited budget. I should look at this actually. Per customer, and terrible customer service. He might not just say it as quietly as bad as that, but that led to inefficiencies and high costs. He went on a tour along with his boss across the world, UK and North America, to do a feasibility study to see what he would have to invest. He basically found out that he couldn't afford to do what he wanted to do. A lot of the customers he talked to, or government agents he talked to, were customers of ours, so he spoke to me, and I said, well, there is potentially another way. So that enabled him then to do this pilot. And what we did there was we delivered a cloud-based solution that gave him knowledge management, case management, internally and on the web at a fraction of the cost. Unfortunately, nobody in Lagan has ever been to Bermuda. We did this all over the wire, the whole thing. And we've talked about doing things differently. This was a practical example of how we and Bermuda have done things completely differently than we would otherwise do. For them, I mentioned they had this plan, a master plan of where they want to get to. They concluded at one stage they could not start. So the benefit to them was they could start now, and they're actually live now, and they're able to take a lot of very small steps very quickly and deliver value to their customers. If you go to the Bermuda website, you'll see an FAQ, click on that, and you'll see an example of this. The web then. So the web, you might say we've not really much to say about that. The problem is you simply can't, your problem might be you simply can't deliver the service you want. There's a bigger problem. Customers want to transact with you on the web. The solution? Let them. It's that simple. We can all go home now. The point of this is a lot of our customers, and we see a lot of customers who have stuff on the web, but they're not fully integrated, which means actually the cost of delivery is actually quite high. I mentioned I was speaking at Sydney there a month ago at the Government Contact Centre Conference for the whole of Australasia. The view there was that the web had not delivered on its promise. They had breakaway groups like I think it's going to happen today, and I talked to some of them, and actually in most cases the reason was because they hadn't integrated it into their customer service centre. We have lots of examples where we have integrated, our customers have integrated, and there have been tremendous benefits. One example is Oxford City Council, and there are many. So for council tax, they've targeted a 25% shift to self-service, and they're currently at 15%. When they get to their target, they'll be saving £112,000 per year. And that's just one service area. They had a recent recycling campaign, and 60% of their service requests came from the web. 60%. And again, that's just one service area. If you're doing that today, we've got customers even doing a bit more than that. Our customers are pushing us to take it to the next level, and we'll be making some announcements in that area in the coming year. But two examples for now. Brisbane City Council's vision is just unbelievable, what they plan to do. And we're very excited about that. But Scottish Improvement Service and what they plan to do, Martin Brown, in the coming year is also very exciting. So there's a lot of stuff happening abroad and here as well that will take this up to the next level. Okay, and then almost finished. I'm doing quite well here, which is surprising for me. So the crowd, what is that? The crowd is, so you imagine people in a room and somebody says, I have a problem, and somebody else says, yeah, I have that problem too, and somebody else says, I have a problem, the same problem as you. That's a crowd. They're getting together. They're starting to leverage their group power. This crowdsourcing is basically what we're talking about here, is doing that on the internet. And you can use applications like Facebook, SeeClickFix, Fix My Street, CitySource, which is a US one, Twitter. Now, the problem there is your citizens are talking about you, okay? And they're doing this crowdsourcing. The other problem is you have some citizens out there who like nothing better than to complain. The solution is harness them. Don't ignore them. Somebody mentioned earlier, it was a phrase, I've forgotten it here, unleash them. That was a phrase I heard. That was pretty good. We've customers doing this today in the States, live, actually integrated solutions. So what are they doing? Well, first of all, I suppose, why would you want to use them? Well, it's back to this thing about your citizens actually, these guys here, they actually want to be involved, whether they maybe even realize it themselves. So Boston, we mentioned Boston, Massachusetts, they have lots of snow problems. I can tell you a lot about that afterwards, if you wish. But they actually released an iPhone app in conjunction with ourselves over a year ago. For political reasons, actually. Somebody was getting re-elected, it was the mayor, and long story. Anyway, they basically now have got a year's worth of data about how people are interacting with them on the iPhone and all channels. And what they found is that there's a large number of people using an iPhone to report things, but actually the vast majority of those reports are between 2 and 3 people who literally walk the city and tell you what's wrong. Right? Now, San Francisco have the same thing. San Francisco don't have one mechanism. They've actually got quite a few. They've done something very interesting, which I'll talk about in a moment. But they've also got about a year's worth of data about what citizens are doing and how they're reporting. And again, it comes down to, there's a lot of stuff, but there's actually 2 or 3 individuals, and they know who they are, and they tell you what's going on. And they've coined this phrase of sensors. So they're harnessing and unleashing these people as sensors of a city because they are their eyes and ears. Now, what's different about this, because I'm sure you've heard of plenty of iPhone apps, these are integrated into the back office, so they don't actually put more work on the front office. That's key. Okay? What happened when San Francisco was the first in the world to integrate Twitter, and we helped them, and it was an absolute disaster because it meant the front office people had to rekey stuff in because it was unstructured, right? They've just recently put it up a notch and done it again, and now it doesn't do that. But Facebook, they're about to launch Facebook, integrate it directly into our system, and again, there'll be no rekeying. How? Because in the States, they've introduced this standard, which we're part of as well, called Open 311. And what it means is that on these types of social media applications, when you report something, it actually gets passed straight into the back office, and it bypasses the front office altogether. This hasn't happened anywhere else in the world, and we're part of that. And we'll be making some very interesting announcements, exciting announcements about that in the coming weeks. Okay, that standard's called Open 311. So watch this space on that. And I suppose essentially what it does is, going back to this bit at the top here, it brings order to chaos, because social media, there's an awful lot of stuff happens out there. And Open 311 is one technique that you can use, and our customers are using in the States today to bring order to chaos. Okay, so that's that. And then finally, so we've kind of touched on this today already. Things will never be the same. We believe that the sort of efficiencies we need to drive today can only be done through reform. They can't be these little incremental things. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do more with the same? You could leverage the web and actually allow your citizens to do more. They want to do it anyway. So there's actually, I didn't make this point. Because your citizens want to interact with you on the web, it's an opportunity. So leverage it. Let them do it. Do more with less. How can you do that? This idea of leveraging citizens as sensors is actually a form of big society. I remember we commented on this earlier this year as a company, and we got ridiculed by somebody, a blogger, who said, we're lagging quick to the mark on this. You know what? We actually have practical examples of this. This actually can be a real thing. Boston again, San Francisco, we have other examples of how they're using crowdsourcing to actually help them get involved in the community. So leverage that. Or are you going to do the same with the same? We talked about this. We talked about how things are never going to be the same again. We're still talking to customers of ours, even in the last couple of weeks, and they still seem to be thinking along these lines. This cannot be. So what are you going to do?